Guys. All right. Welcome to another Corey Coffee and Conspiracy. We are still in our symbolism class of sacred geometry and symbolism. This is part 6 into this series. Now, to help you out, to help those online out, this will be the last night I teach until the first Wednesday night in April. Next week, I'm out of town. Justin's teaching. The following week is discipleship conference. There is no church. The following week after that, we have a missionary who is in town, and the only time he had no Sunday mornings available, so we don't have Sunday night church anymore, and so we're limited. Here's your 2 options, and so we're going to get him up, and we're going to do that in here, though, right? Right. Yeah, we're just going to let the guy present from in here, and we'll do all that. And so, okay, we are obviously in part 6 of Symbolism and Sacred Geometry, and as we've said every week, Manly P. Hall, the 33rd degree Mason, said that if you want to pass along hidden or occult information, you do it through symbolism. And one of the things I hope I'm going to do well tonight is show you how that this symbolism is literally all around you, and you have no idea in television and different movies and stuff like that. So then, we just in a quick review, we started with this symbol, the Vesica Pisces. And I thought it was interesting that somebody put this out this week. I saw on Instagram, and I went out and double-checked it. And yet this just goes to show you when they laid out stuff as the Egyptians, this idea that we're the most advanced man has ever been, you're out of your mind, right? Genesis 6 will let you know real quick, you and I are not in the most advanced world that this world has seen. These guys were way in front of us, and they understood things in ways that we can't hardly even begin to understand. Then we got into the triquetra, which is a satanic symbol for the Trinity. We said it's very interesting because it's in every New King James Bible. That's every now and then we got people go, "Hey, Corey, you're one of those King James people, right?" And my first answer is, well, I'm not one of those, but I am a King James guy. And I always get some people go, "Well, what about the New King James?" Well, without getting into the Greek and Hebrew about that, I always just go to that symbol and go, what's that doing on there? All right. Now, as you build the triquetra and the Vesica Pisces, you end up with this 6-pointed star. We went in, we realized that's where Solomon's seal is, or sigil, which is the Ouroboros, as above, so below. We went in and explained all that. Then we got into the flower of life and the Metron's cube, and then we talked about Cabal. And understanding Jewish mysticism. Now, one of the things that I've tried to do in this class is show you that whether it's the Muslim world, Cabal, whether it's Freemasonry, whether it's Mormonism, if you really get to the heart of the matter, it's all the same stuff. It's built on the whole ideology of Satan being worshipped, okay? Now, most people are going to tell you that's not what they do. They don't on the street level, but at the top, they do. And one of the things about Cabal, and as I've told you, your boy Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, they wear those red little, string bracelets they have. That's identifying with this. This is what a Madonna is. But I want to show you a video for those that are still thinking Freemasonry is a good thing. Albert Pike is the guy. Okay, Albert Pike is the guy that wrote Morals and Dogma, and this guy, remember when I showed you the guy that wrote about the 3 world wars, and he predicted it like it was prophecy? He's the guy that is buried in the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., where they do the seances during the presidential elections. This guy right here, let's see what we got here. Let's see if I can click it.
Albert Pike said that Freemasonry is based on the Kabbalah, yes, Jewish magic. In all of the rituals of Freemasonry, you will find the Kabbalah, the system of magic of the Jews. They believe in necromancy, yes, communication with the dead, and they believe that in the last days, a Kabbalistic master will come upon the earth, and there will be a Jewish utopia, a new world order of the Jews, but they must go along with what are called the Noahide laws and be good Gentiles and go along with Kabbalah. And if they recognize that the Holy Spirit is the serpent. And by the way, that's also taught in the 32nd degree of Freemasonry, the serpent is the Holy Spirit. Right. And he is going to encircle the earth.
Now, and by the way, don't believe a word you're seeing here. And I don't agree with everything I show you as far as some of the foolishness they write on here. I'm just showing you guys that are interviewing, talking about it. Dive into that. See what they're talking about. Because do you understand that those that are Luciferians, they worship Lucifer. If you cornered one of them and said, you're a Satanist, he'd say, no, I'm not. I don't worship Satan. I worship Lucifer. Now, if we take Lucifer as the way God describes him in Ezekiel 28, he's a pretty good dude, right? Like this is the sum of all the beauty of what God created was in this one individual who led all the sons of God in worship to God. We're talking pre-fall. So they don't believe that Satan, they don't believe the Isaiah 14 account, and so therefore the one in the garden that is the serpent trying to help them get knowledge was trying to help man, and the God of the Bible was trying to hurt man. Okay, that's where we fundamentally are going to disagree. Okay, now, however, what I'm showing you is, so that's tied in with Cabal and Freemasonry, and they're all looking for one individual to show up. And this guy is going to be able to work magic, is what they're talking about. Now think about this. Every single group is looking for this one individual. Every single one of them. Now remember, when you go to studying your New Testament, especially books like 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and you find out about the guy that's coming on the scene, you know how Benny Hinn does all that goofball stuff on television? All right, if it is real, and I'm saying that with a question mark, he's doing that through demonic power, but I think the vast majority of it's fake. You guys ever seen Fletch 2? Yeah. All right, if you grew up in my house, we watched 80s movies, all right? So bottom line is, it's all a show that you see on television. The guy that's going to come on the scene, it's not going to be a show. This guy's going to put limbs back on bodies. This guy's going to raise people from the dead. This guy is going to be able to do everything you can be able to think of. And you know what the world's going to say? To the Catholics, who are they going to say it is? That's Jesus. To the Cabal, who is it? That's that guy, that sorcerer, that magician that we've been looking for. The 12th Imam is who the Muslims are going to think it is. And everybody's going to come on the scene, and they're all looking for this one individual. You realize the next move we're looking for is not somebody to come on the scene. We're the 6%ers. We're the people that believe, no, the next guy to come on the scene won't be Jesus. It'll be the evil one. And what we're looking for is a ticket out of here, not to sit here and watch it all go down. Then, after it all goes down, then we, with Christ, come back to the planet. All right, now, then we got into the seal of the truth of God by John D. last week. I won't go through all of it, but you have the pentagram, and we talked about how the pentagram, according to them, you got fire, earth, water, and then the spirit, it's at the top. But when you invert it, the spirit's at the bottom, and that's where you get the Baphomet horns. All right, and we talked about how it becomes a satanic symbol at that point. And we said, isn't it interesting that Washington, D.C. is laid out in a pentagram, and the bottom of the pentagram ends at the Oval Office? The center of the pentagram is where Albert Pike is buried, in the house of the temple. I started to put it on there. I think I did put it on there. It's in there somewhere. I have 91 slides, by the way. We're not getting through it. But your boy Tesla, Elon, Careful. There is enough symbolism on that guy. We're going to get into him on another level at some point. But then we got into the Star of David, and we said the other one was a pentagram, but this is a hexagram, all right? And we got into the dollar bill and how it is laid out. And here's Jordan Maxwell, which is funny. Jordan Maxwell is not a Christian, but he is very educated in ancient religions. And every now and then I get some punk online who wants to talk trash to me and call me some Jordan Maxwell wannabe or something like that is what I'm like, okay. But here we go. Here's Jordan Maxwell talking about it.
The New World Order. What is all that about?
And let's start with the annuit coeptus. Annuit coeptus is Latin, meaning our enterprise or our project is now a success or has been crowned with success. So then you say, well, your project is now crowned with success. What is the project? Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is novus, meaning new, ordo, order, the new order. Seclorium is the word secular in Latin, meaning the world, the new order of the world. You will notice that there are 13 layers in the pyramid. There are 13 letters in Annuit coeptus. There are 13 stars above the head of the eagle. There are 13 berries and 13 leaves. There are 13 arrows. There are 13 stripes. Everything is done in sequence of 13 except the wings, which are 32 and 33 of the 32nd degree and 33rd degree of Freemasonry. I want to draw your attention to the right-hand side of the $1 bill at the top on the 1. Right here on the little curvature, if you look very closely, you will see an owl. It is used as a symbol because it sees things in the dark. The owl is an occult symbol used by the Bohemian Society and the Illuminati in general. It is used as a symbol because it sees things in the dark, and that's why it's wise, implying that our political leaders are seeing things in the dark. They are aware of many dark things which are going on, and that's why they're wise, and you're not.
Which ties you into the Illuminati, and that's one of the reasons they use that owl as symbolism. By the way, according to Scripture, what is the owl? It's an unclean bird. Okay, what is unclean? What are unclean birds compared to by Christ? Unclean spirits. Okay, so there's this big movement of owls and worshiping of owls, and it's tied in, according to Scripture, not just what the Freemasons think, but according to Scripture, that's tied into symbolism to the other side. Now, the number 13, everybody goes crazy about it, right? Well, of course, there was 13 colonies. Sure there were. By plan there was. By the way, who is the 13th from Adam? Nimrod. Do you know what 13 means? Rebellion. Okay? Remember, Osiris, Gilgamesh, Nimrod, it's all the same dude. And you say, well, how can the one guy be named the same thing all over the world? Because it all started at the Tower of Babel. What did God do? Changed the languages and scattered the people. They left out not having the same language, but they left out with the same worship of the same dude they'd always had. So now Osiris is Nimrod. Nimrod is Baal. Baal is Gilgamesh. The sun is Tammuz or Horus. You know what today is? It's Ash Wednesday. Okay? This is not even on my 91 screens, but buckle up. It's Ash Wednesday. So yesterday was Fat Tuesday. So either if you're a Catholic, this is how this goes down. Well, starting tomorrow, we're going to have to fast and give up some things. So today we are going to party down. That's what Mardi Gras is all about. Okay, so today they all went around to their priest, and he took ashes and made an X on their forehead. And we're going to get into the X and what the X means scripturally and how it applies to the mark of the beast here in a month or so. And now they're all running around today. But if you go into the book of Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel talks about the weeping of Tammuz. Tammuz, the virgin-born son of Nimrod, dies, and after 40 days, he's resurrected. And every year there's a holiday called Easter. And it's always 40 days after Ash Wednesday, the weeping of Tammuz. For those of you that are blown away by this whole thing, our stance on Easter, and guys, you ever wonder why it's on a different Sunday every year? Why does it keep moving around? He died on a specific day. He died on an April 1st, but that's a whole nother sermon, lecture, whatever you want to go through. But that's what's going on down today. Now, then we got into the hexagon, all right, and we talked about how it's in the symbol of OpenAI. But tonight we're going to pick up here with the ancient Egyptian winged disc symbol. This symbol, and you can see it here with the G and the compass and square that's there. So the Masons picked this up. But this symbol has been used all over the planet. Okay, here's obviously the Egyptians, the Armenians. This is the Mayans. Here's the Assyrians, and you can barely see it here, but you're going to see there's a star in there. It's called the Star of Ishtar. We are going to bring this up because it's shown in movies now. All right, the Samaritans, each one of them have it. All right, the Hittites there. This ancient symbol is commonly associated with Egypt, although it was used by the Persians and the Assyrians and also by the remote cultures in South America and Australia. It consists of a sun orb flanked by two wings. The Egyptians traditionally depicted two serpents on the wings, representing the goddesses protecting the upper and lower Egypt. So Thomas Milton Stewart explains its mythological meaning in his book. He says, Horus, the virgin-born redeemer of Egypt, of the Egyptians. Now, who do you think they're mimicking here? Now, by the way, the pagans would go, see, that's why Christianity's a fake. Because it stole its stuff from here. No, I think Genesis 3:15 was out before Horus, where God says, hey man, I'm going to put enmity between the seed of the woman, and women don't have seed, and the seed of the serpent, okay? And so what happened was Satan was trying to come in and counterfeit what was really going to go down in the person of Jesus Christ. So Horus, the virgin-born redeemer of the Egyptians, came into the world to destroy the enemies of the great god Ra. Sounds really familiar to a story I've heard about in the New Testament, how Jesus Christ came into the world to destroy the enemies of God his Father. And matter of fact, he's in total control until he makes those enemies his footstool. And once he does, then he relinquishes power back to his Father. Now, therefore, Horus changed himself into the form of the winged sun disk and took with him the goddesses of whoever that is, in the form of two serpents. After their successful war upon the enemies of Ra, Horus commanded Thoth, the god of secret wisdom. Now, what is this that, when I say occult, what does it mean? Hidden wisdom. All this is all, and by the way, what's going on in Freemasonry and the climbing of their pyramid ladder is nothing different than Genesis chapter 3. It's wanting knowledge to be like the gods. Okay, now watch. That the winged sun disk with the erected serpents should be brought into every sanctuary of all the gods of the land in the south and north. So he's letting you know, this is Thomas Milton Stewart, symbolism of the gods of the Egypts in the light they are thrown on Freemasonry. And so what he's saying is this is how it gets into Freemasonry. And he's saying that winged disc needs to be in every one of their temples that they worship in. And we're like, okay, well, let's just see. So right over here is one of the Egyptian temples, and you can see the sun disk at the top. This is a pyramid cap. It's got the same thing going on the top there. This is a carving on a wall in Egypt, and they got these two towers here. I wonder what those things are. But this winged disc thing going on over here, because these were their temples that they went into, and they were symbolisms to worship. Now, some people may say, well, Corey, you Christians put up crosses. Well, not all Christians do. I never wear that. Because what we were told is not to wear the cross, but to preach the cross. Matter of fact, we're not to have graven images. We are to let our life so shine Jesus Christ. Matter of fact, you know what he tells you to do with your cross? Pick it up and bear it. Right? We don't work off a symbolism. That's one of the reasons when the steeple came down off the top of the church, and everybody, not anybody in here, but others would think, well, that's crazy. Now it doesn't even look like a church. As though there's some type of description in Scripture of what a church looks like. Right? However, now, this is the house of temple. I told you it was where Albert Pike is buried. This is where they do the seance for the inauguration, hoping that Apollos, Revelation 9:11, comes back, and here's your winged disc. Come over here in the George Washington Monument that is 6,660 feet tall, and it's 666 inches wide, just so it happens to be. But that winged disc is right there at the top of it as you enter in to the Washington Monument. Why? Because it's a temple. At what point as Americans do we stop and go, what's up with all the Egyptian artifacts in our country? It's on our dollar bill. It's Washington, this great Christian supposedly, and yet the one symbol we use to represent him is a phallic symbol that came out of Egypt. All right? Now, here is it again. This is the Grand Lodge in Wales. It's got it on top of there. That's where the Freemasonry is. Why is it in there? It's a temple for them to worship. This is the entrance to the Rosicrucians, and we will eventually get to them, but the Rosicrucians have it there. Why? This is out in San Jose, California, because it's a temple. Here is another look of it. Once you get into the entrance, here it is again on another building. Notice what's above it. That's called an Ankh. It is a major Egyptian symbol. And that Ankh symbol has been around longer than before Christ was on the earth. All right? Now, notice how it's in all the car manufacturers. It's a variation of it, but that's where it comes back to. Obviously, Chrysler's got it here with the disc in the middle with the wings. Bentley's got the same thing, the Mini Cooper, Southwest Airlines, Harley Davidson, Aston Martin, and even Chevrolet has an amalgamation of the same symbolism. Now, once again, guys, we're not here to drive in. I'm going to keep driving a Chevrolet. I don't really care. I'm sure Ford's got some issue too. Yeah. Trust me. All right. Don't you drive one now? All right. So let's talk about Hollywood. Okay. This is where all your television shows, all your movies come out of, is Hollywood, right? Hollywood stars. And the influence that Hollywood has on the people in this country. Do you think it's by happenstance that we have made such a big deal out of those people and how they influence so much of our society? The artist, whether it's a painter, whether it's a musician, whether it's an actor, artists affect the society more than any other group of people. And Hollywood is one of the largest affecting situations that we have. Now, here's what I will say. They don't have quite the influence they thought, because if they did, Kamala Harris would be president. Because that's what they kept yelling. All the actors and all the musicians and all that. But here's the thing. You ever wonder why a place in LA that makes movies is called Hollywood? Where does that come from? Right? You ever notice what a television is? Watch this. Tell-vision. Tell-vision. Tell-a-vision. Television. Tell lies visually. How much of the stuff you see is really real? The country has figured out how to manipulate the masses of people through a box in your living room. You could never influence 330 million people in the country if you didn't have some way to access them. And so they've figured out a way through programming, and that's what we're going to bring out, programming. You ever watch a program? My grandmother used to say, well, my program's on. All right? And the reason being is, it's called a program. Because through telling a vision, they are programming people to think a certain way. Okay? So, as I'm old enough now to see the movement in television and how it's gotten to a certain level. So my wife and I are very bored with television, so we generally watch whatever we've seen a million times. And so we started watching Friends again, right? Season 1, Ross loses his wife to another woman. And into this generation, that's mainstream. No big deal. But in 1994, when that was going on, that was a big deal. Like, holy cow, they're putting that out on television. Now, 20-something years later, nobody thinks nothing about it. Matter of fact, it's comical. Well, they start manipulating. You can go back to the 70s with All in the Family, and you can go back to the 60s and how they started manipulating society through programs. Programming the people. Now watch this. And you know what you turn it to? A channel. Do you think those words are by accident? So Jack Nicklaus has been known, along with your girl Beyonce, who turns into Sasha. There it is. She will tell you she's channeling her. And what happens is Jack Nicklaus actually says he channels the energy of people into his character. Okay, and so what do they do with your television? They tell you a lie through a vision, programming you through channeling you. Now, you may be thinking, Corey, you're just manipulating those words. I may be. It sure does fit. Now watch. In 2015, there was a movie called Focus, and it was with Will Smith in it, and he's taking his, he's this like career con man. He knows how to con people, and he's bringing a girl through to train her. And I want you to see this scene.
Oh man!
I hope there's no cussing.
I'm good for it.
I don't think there's cussing.
Problem, my friend.
Take those binoculars. Pick any player on or off the field, and I will guess the number.
Any player. That's like 100 to 1.
It's good odds for you. 2 million.
That's crazy. Oh, I don't like.
All right. I'm nervous now. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but it's been a while. So let me show you how it works now. I need to just play it. I've played this thing in here before. I'm almost positive. All right, let's try it again.
Oh man, dude, what are you doing?
I'm good for it. Double it.
It's still dragging.
Not a problem, my friend.
All right, I'm going to explain it. Because here's the deal. Here's what he basically does. He looks at this guy and he bets and he says, you pick anybody on the field through these binoculars. Guess their number and I'm going to tell you what their number is. In other words, pick it out, get it in your head. And the guy goes, oh, that's crazy. There's something up. He says, matter of fact, I'll have her do it. And she's blinded to it. She has no idea. So he looks down on the field and sees a guy wearing number 55, and he says, okay, I've got the number. So the girl looks through the binoculars. She's looking around, and sure enough, she picks number 55. And so when they leave there, she was like, how did you do that? He said, all day long, we are playing, we're having the number 55 around him. It's on a pin on the doorman in the hotel. It's hanging from the chandelier. They're playing the song by Rolling Stones, which is I think it's the Sympathy of the Devil, which is, if you've ever heard the song, it's all about guess my name, and you get to the end, and it's Lucifer. He said, and there's 22 woos in there, and that's the Chinese word for 5. He said they drove him down the parkway, and there's people standing out there protesting with these signs. They got 55 on it. They programmed him to pick that number, and you're saying, okay, that's just a movie. No, they're letting you know what they're doing. This is what they do. They pick and program us to think a certain way. And they know how we're going to think before we know how to think. This is what marketing is designed for. Madison Avenue has figured out how to sell product. And it's through programming. And one of the lines in Mad Men was, the greatest way to sell is to create an itch and then slide your product in as a calamine lotion. And that's literally what goes on in this country through symbolism. Okay? Now, Hollywood. Why is it called Hollywood? Let's go back to Jordan Maxwell. And I know he wasn't cussing. Oh. All right.
Druid. Well, they were the lawyers, the attorneys, they were the judges, the religious leaders, they were everything. The doctors, the medical, everything was Druid in Europe. One of the most important symbols in the Druid religion was a magic wand, like the conductor of an orchestra. You waves his magic wand, and you had better dance to the tune, because he's the boss.
So the wand.
So the magic wand, like Merlin the magician, were always made. Magic wands were always made out of the wood of a holly tree, made out of Hollywood. Okay. So once you understand, it's the magic of Hollywood that's orchestrating the whole world to dance to a new tune.
Now, so Druids, that's who he's talking about. They were priests, magicians, soothsayers in the ancient Celtic world, right? And they used that holly branch or holly wood as their wand. And he uses Merlin, but I would say something like your boy Harry Potter, okay? And what they're doing, like a conductor conducting an orchestra with that wand, they're doing the same thing, and that's why it's called Hollywood. It was a tree that they worshiped. And here was the thing, the reason that the Hollywood or holly tree was their tree that they worshiped, it was during the winter time, because the oak was during the summer. Because the oak goes dormant in the winter, but not the holly tree. Okay, now check this out. It's during the time of Saturnalia on December 25th, when the whole world worshiped this pagan Tammuz, and they used holly trees or green trees during the winter and worshiped them. Okay, you can go through book of Jeremiah where God's very clear, like you go out here and you cut down a green tree, you bring it into your house, you nail it, and you dress it with silver and gold. Oh, gee, I don't know any idea what he may be talking about. Now check this out. Christmas, right? You ever deck the halls with Barja Bahari? And for those of you that are offended, get over yourself. That's the Christmas story. The Asian dudes at the end trying to sing, cutting a duck's head off. All right. Now, it's called balls of holly. So the holly is tied in to Christmas, so Saturnalia. Now check this out. You offended moving out now? Oh, I can tell you that much. Open the door. All right. You know what else you call Hollywood? Tinseltown. Do you know what you put on the tree? Tinsel. All this stuff is tied together. This is not something that I've just somehow magically pulled all this stuff and went, yeah, that'll work. I can fool them with this. No, it's all tied together. Now watch this. Let's look at the all-seeing eye, or known as the eye of providence, or the eye of Horus, okay? Now, it's interesting when speaking about just open the outside door is what I was saying, and allow a little bit of coolness, all right? Now, it's interesting when God is speaking about the Antichrist, he says, woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Speaking of the Antichrist, okay? Now, I could get into the theologicals of whether that's in the first 3.5 or the second 3.5. And I've got a whole thing on both. Now, if you're part of the crew that thinks this is only going to be a 3.5 year tribulation, good luck with all that. But either way. Now, notice this. Now, I don't care where you go, when you see these stars in Hollywood getting their picture taken, watch how often you see one of the eyes closed over. Many a times it's the right, but it switches back and forth. Look at all the famous people you can see up here, and every one of these. Now, some of them are adding, and we'll get to the 666, but most of them are at least covering an eye. Here is your girl, Katy Perry, up here, and we'll show her video eventually. This is the eye of Horus here. You got it, the eyeball in the background here. You have it on her bracelet there. Once again, here are more pictures of Hollywood. Now, it's interesting. Why do you always have to do that? Everybody's going to do the same pose? It's almost like it was orchestrated. Like somebody has planned this on an upper level to make sure all the stars, when they're getting their picture taken, are doing that. Now, here we go again. You see it on the back tattoo over here. You see it right here. That's, what's that idiot? Billy Ray's daughter.
No, that's Megan Trainor.
This is who?
Oh, that's Miley Cyrus.
That's what I'm saying. Billy Ray's daughter.
Yeah,
that's the achy breaky guy. All right. That's all I know him for. And then this is who?
If I'm not mistaken, that's Megan Trainor. No, it's Kesha.
All right.
That's right. Yeah.
So she's got it on her, tattooed on her hand. All right. Now here's Julia Roberts. Okay. Now notice what she's wearing here. You've got the eye of Horus right here, and it's that same snake symbol is in her outfit with that eye of symbol there. Now, I just got to say, guys, if you think this are all coincidence, what's the probability when you look at the statistics that they're all doing it? Right? How about this is Naomi Campbell, right? I guess everybody, good, somebody. Yeah. No, this is her house. It's her house. And it's down there on an island. Some weird stuff goes down on those islands. Now watch this. Notice this. But notice the tail of the eye and what's sitting on it. It's an ankh. Once again, why? All right? So, Scooby-Doo. Now, what I'm trying to show you is you're being programmed every single day of your life. Good night. All right. So you got it here on the back of the bank. You got it on her necklace. Here's SpongeBob. Notice the symbol, the eye here. You got the Scrooge McDuck, and it says, "Ask about the Illuminati." Now, why would that be there on a kid's cartoon? Why would you need any of this? Going back to Scooby-Doo, why would you need that? You're doing that because you're programming a whole generation. I grew up with this stuff. And I'll be honest with you, never saw it. But I saw it whether I saw it or not. And that was the point of me trying to show you the Will Smith thing. Whether you know you see something or not, subconsciously it's going in. Now, same thing. Okay, this is The Simpsons. Look at the toy. It's got the all-seeing eye on a pyramid here. They got it on a poster in the background. You got your compass and square over here on this side. All right, here's Dora. Got the same symbol. They're both doing it. You got an all-seeing eye on, whatever he is. There's a small one here that you can't see. It's got the pyramid. All right, this is Family Guy, right? All right, the book in the background's got it on there. Notice Welcome to Springfield. Right down over here in the corner is a pyramid with an all-seeing eye on it. So at what point do you just accept the fact, okay, you guys are up to something? Because it's in everything. And it just keeps showing up. All right, now watch this. This is Tom and Jerry. Oh, well, I keep messing up here. Hang on, guys.
Do you know how that one is?
This one's from the 80s.
What's this?
Well, from the looks of things, sir, I'd say they are here to audition for the remaining slot in the fabulous super race.
Is this some kind of a joke? A pussycat and a mouse? This show is about crazy stunts and people putting their lives at risk for a big fat prize. It's not a
knows the
crazy
desk.
documentary. Irving, call security and have these...
Sir, it's him. This always gives me the creeps, sir.
He's the president of Hollywood. He's supposed to...
President of Hollywood.
Greetings, your tinseliness, imperious leader of Hollywood.
Smile, Irving.
I'm terrified, sir.
Now you look, J.W. The girls and I overheard what you were saying about this cat and mouse.
Yes. They want to enter the race, sir. I was just about to call security.
This is the greatest single idea for the fabulous super race show yet. Good thinking, J.W. You're really on the ball.
Yes, your sparkliness. Thank you. I was sure you'd like it. From the looks of this pussycat, I'd be prepared to say he's the type that would stop at nothing to win.
Absolutely. It's genius. People love a rotten to the core villain. Someone who'll do the things they only dream about in order to win. Remember, J.W., when in doubt, always stoop as low as you can and appeal to people's basest instincts.
Gosh, thanks, your flashiness. Right again.
Well, our work here is done.
All right. So, you got Drake, not Zach and Cody. Drake, Zach and Cody, whatever. Once again, the Illuminati wrote in the background. Now, once again, why bring that up? Other than the fact that even like the cartoons there, you say, well, Corey, there was nothing evil about that cartoon. They're just trying to show some symbolism from Egypt. Oh, okay. Why? What's the message? What are we trying to do? And why does it keep showing up in all these kids' stuff? All right, now watch. All right, Walt Disney. You see anything? They're there. Now, you see anything? In the reflection of Disney, of Mickey, it says wicked. Now, here you go. This is also called the Art of Disney. Notice the logo. 666. That's not even like hidden. It's right there. It is amazing the amount of stuff that is put right in front of our eyes. Now, guys, we're never, as a church, going to tell you you shouldn't go to. I don't care. I've been there once because it's kind of like you have kids, so you have to go. And so we went. I didn't know any of this stuff at the time, and we went to the deal and left. And okay, I definitely don't want to go back. But we're not taking a stance and saying, guys, you shouldn't go to Disney. You shouldn't watch cartoons. That is not our place as church leadership to decide what you can and cannot do unless you're violating Scripture. Okay. Therefore, when we look at certain things like it's like the Easter, or it's like Christmas. Okay, we never taught our kids Santa Claus. We would have never taught that for the simple fact we just took the story and said that every good and perfect gift come from the Father above, and we taught our kids that they got to get up on Christmas morning and there was gifts there that weren't there the night before, and we'd just tell them Jesus brought them. And it wasn't a lie. Every gift we've ever gotten came from him, right? And so, but we never would come in here and go, you shouldn't teach your kids that. That's where it gets goofy in churches. We're presenting information, giving you that information, asking you to make good choices in your life, but it's not our place to decide whether you can or you cannot do things. Now, Disney has a secret club called Club 33, right? Now, if you go and listen to the official story, it's because he had a place where he brought in corporate sponsors and he tried to have a private club for them, and he named it after the place where he was at, which was the address was 33rd whatever street. Okay, sounds good. Until you get inside and look at the checkered floor. Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Freemason. I mean, this stuff is deeper than you realize. And some of the stuff I could bring out would rattle you to the core, and I won't, because there's just a lot of stuff that is just not something you want to hear about tonight. All right, now let's talk about the pyramid, okay, that keeps showing up. All right, here's your girl, and who is that guy? What's he called? What's his nickname? Hove. What's Hove? It's short for something. Jehovah. It's a mocking of God. All right? Now, this is him and his MK Ultra wife. All right? And she is a certified witch. The amount of stuff, we could do a whole episode on Beyonce and the mess that goes on around their world. All right? When you want to have a good time, go look at the video when she was pregnant and she was sitting down to have an interview. And the dress just kind of folds up, all right? Now, but this is what they're doing. Why do they do that at concerts? All right? Now, notice here, master of the craft, they do that symbol on the shirt. There's your boy Al Sharpton. He's about as much as a reverend as... Anyway, then Ben Stiller doing it. All right? Now, notice, isn't it interesting when I was talking about Trump doing the symbolism? You know, all the anti-Trump people are like, yeah, that's right. He ain't right. Well, hold up. This crew's doing the same thing. It's just a different symbol. All right? Now, watch. Notice in these concerts, you got the all-seeing eye and the pyramid. You got all-seeing eye. You got the Pharaoh thing there. Why does it always come back to this? So when we get to Revelation 17 at some point, and we're talking about Mystery Babylon, that thread goes through the scriptures all the way back to Nimrod. Nothing's changed. And the reason why nothing's changed, it is a worship of a holy mother and a holy child. No matter where you go. Right? Now, here's Harry Potter. He's got the pyramid going. You got Nickelodeon. Now, if you really want some homework, by the way, did anybody do the homework when I asked who Aleister Crowley's daughter, maybe son is?
Oh, yeah. It's
All right, just checking. All right, now check this out. Nickelodeon's got a symbol of an island. Check out the absolute detail of that island sometime. All right. Now, notice here's another concert where the pyramid shows up. Now, this building right here is a building in Israel, and it is their Supreme Court. Look at it. Pyramid with an all-seeing eye right at the top of it. Now, the parking lot right here in the back, it's kind of hard for you to see, especially sitting there. Here's an artist's rendition of it. Notice the sunburst right in the middle of it. Those lines, if you could probably not see it, but they're there. It's interesting how all that comes about. All right, here's another place. My mind went blank on where it was at. It's a government facility, I think, out in L.A. All right, how about the horns of Baphomet? Okay, so you got the horn thing, right? Now, let me play this for you. This is Dick Cavett and Anton LaVey, who was the starter of the Church of Satan. Notice the symbolism. Marilyn Manson, notice the shirt. Pentagram.
Would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works?
Sign of the
Completely
curse?
different.
How does it go?
Sorry, it's not
at
Dick
you,
Cavett.
Not at you people out there in the audience, but this is the difference.
Aim it toward Red China, would you?
This is the sign of the horn. A curse sign. The two fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast, you know.
I always
all over.
figured if I ever met the
Together.
devil, it'd have dirty fingernails. Go on.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Where?
Dirty fingernails.
Well, that's because I've been fooling around with your equipment.
Never mind. Don't blame it on the screw. Go on with that.
All right.
So that's the sign of the horn, and then what happens? Is that it?
Well, there are other ones, too.
Yeah, what are the other ones?
The other one's, one of them's the pox sign. That's three fingers extended.
A pox on you?
The pox sign.
Ozzy Osbourne there. All right, now watch. There's your girl, who's really messed up, doing the Baphomet symbol, where it's as above, so below. Many times you study and you see pictures of paintings of Jesus Christ, and it's doing that. There is nothing about Christ tied into that, okay? Now, that was brought through the Catholic Church, but this is the Baphomet, which is half male, half female, who is a goat, who has a male symbol and a female symbol. It's absolute unbelievable. Yeah, I put your boy on here. All right. Notice his chest here. He's got a goat on his chest with an upside down cross sitting on it. Now, guys, I'm all for him eliminating government waste. I don't even want a check back. I just want you to stop taking from my check. Keep what you've already took. Just don't take any more. All right? It's kind of like when you find out a little kid's stealing from you, you're like, okay, you don't have to pay me back, but stop stealing from me. Instead, it's the government. But anyway, notice that's the little deal there. You ever notice that his symbol of Tesla, the way it kind of arches down, the way it looks? Some people say it's just a section of his cars, but remember what Manly P. Hall said. It is said that wisdom lies in not seeing things, but seeing things through things. That's what symbolism is. It's to program us and get us used to certain issues. Now, there's your boy, Barack. He's doing it. And you say, well, he's not really doing it. That was just, he was saying hello. Okay, then what's going on here? Now, I don't need the symbolism on this woman. I know what she is, all right? There's another idiot. All right? He's doing it. Now, here, anytime I ever call out George Bush doing this, everybody's like, no, he's from Texas. This is a representation of the Longhorns. Oh, hang on. Wonder if, what are these at, a funeral for the Longhorns? Look at him. And then look at him over here with the Queen. The Longhorns are nowhere in sight. That's easy to make excuses. And by the way, for those of you that think this is some conservative viewpoint, I don't like him any more than I like Obama. I'm not a fan of any of those dudes. All right? However, I'm just showing you we're an equal opportunist when it comes to that. All right? Now, Maria Abramovich, okay? This with the goat horns. We're talking about Baphomet here. All right? Now, that's Lady Gaga. That's her there, and she's doing the spirit cooking, which is the most disgusting thing that you can even begin to think about. It is absolutely, I don't even want to talk about it, especially in a class like this, but it's gross. But notice who she's with. That's not only with her, but her and Hove up there, James Franco, and then, yeah, De Niro, Bob De Niro, oh Bobby. All right, how about the number 666? There's Buzz Aldrin. Now, notice everywhere you go, there's Eminem, the real Slim Shady, 666. Now, you'd say, well, you're having to make that work. What do you mean? What chart have you ever seen that's laid out that way? All right? Then you got Biggie, 666. This says Satan, 666. I think that's Rogan down at the bottom there with a 666. This 666 on the T-shirts. Once again, we're covering the eye, but we're adding the 666. And that symbolism is a 6 with this finger, 6 with this one, 6 with this one. And by the way, for those of you who think we're making this up, they actually tell you this. If you listen, Google Chrome. Now, do you know the name of the computer that pushes Chrome? Adrenal Chrome. Now, you can look into that on your own. All right. Now, the Trilateral Commission. This is another example of a situation where you have the symbolism that is there with the Trilateral, because doing the 666. Even your boys Taco Bell. And now some of you may be thinking, no, you've went too far. You're just seeing stuff that isn't really there. Really? This is their logo when they did the Belluminati. Now, I'm out of time, but guys, we'll dive into this again in April and show you more of this stuff. But the whole purpose of tonight was to show you we're getting programmed whether we know it or not. So, all right, guys, we'll see you all next week.